Hiya. I am going to look today at the guitar solo for Ignorance by Paramore. I've had quite a few emails from people requesting it. I wasn't going to do it initially, but you wanted it, so here it is. What I'll do is I'll play it through once and then I'll break it down and show you what's going on. But yeah, I'm playing the whole thing in octaves. If you've seen any of the other videos that I did, I think it was on Emergency, a part of that riff was played in octaves. What an octave is, the starting note is a D, and you just play another D an octave higher. Kind of sounds a bit like Sweet Child of Mine. So what you have to do is the first note is on the 12th fret on the D string. Then the next note with your little finger, you're playing the 15th fret on the B string. You've got to kind of jump over the 3rd string, the G string, and play those two notes together. And the tricky thing about playing octaves is you've got to mute all the other strings. If you don't, you'll just end up with something that sounds like, which isn't really what you want. So what I'm doing is I'm using my index finger to mute the low A string. The underside of your index finger should automatically mute the G string, and it should also be, if your finger is flat enough to the neck. If your fingers aren't doing that, you don't want your fingers to be doing this. This kind of big arc. You know, when you're playing chords, I always teach my students for your fingers to have this nice kind of arc, so that you're not muting the strings underneath. You want to do the opposite of that when you're playing this. So you want to keep your index finger, pretty much parallel, flat to the neck, so that the top E string is also being muted. The low E string's a bit tricky, and I'm using my middle finger just to rest on it, so that when I strike across the strings, hopefully all you should hear is the two D notes that I'm fretting. So what it's just doing, if you've never played these kind of octaves before, is just get used to just playing the first note. Again, like I said, you want to avoid any other string ringing out. You want to kind of avoid all of that. When you get comfortable with the shape, start moving it around the neck. Just practice your scales, maybe, like just take a D major scale. And just sort of kind of get comfortable with it. Now, the way the solo starts, I'll just do it really slowly. The shape for the first kind of half doesn't move. It's the same kind of 2 fret gap that you'll see between the index finger and your pinky. I try and avoid playing it with my ring finger, this finger, because when you get further down the neck, that stretch becomes pretty tough. So I get to use it with those fingers, the fingers of rock. So the solo starts, like I said, on that D note. Then it moves 1 fret down. It's C sharp, then down 2 more frets to a B, then it jumps all the way down to an F sharp, which is on the 4th fret with your index finger and the 7th fret with your little finger. So that first half again is 12th fret, 12 and 15, then 11 and 14, then 9 and 12, then 4 and 7. Then up to the 5th fret, so that's 5 and 8. And back down. So the latter half of the solo, there's a couple of ways you can play it. I'm going to play it like this. So it starts the same, 12th fret on the D string, 12th fret on the D string, as always that octave, the 15th fret on the B string, then down to C sharp, then up to E, which I'm playing it on the 9th fret on the G string and 12th fret on the top E, then up to F sharp, up 2 more frets, and then finally finishing up on an A. So that whole solo slowly. I said there's not too much to worry about. It's just keep making sure that the shape, the octave shape that you're playing, you can get comfortable moving it around the neck without getting any kind of misplaced fingers. And I said as you come down the neck, the space gets wider. So I'd avoid using your ring finger, your 3rd finger or your ring finger. Always use these 2 fingers. There we go. Another part of this track, or this solo, sorry, is it uses a technique called tremolo picking. And what tremolo picking is picking the string or the strings as fast as you can. And if you're not used to that, this is going to be a bit of a workout for you. What I'd suggest doing just to start off with is play the solo just using 1 downstroke at a time. And then when you get comfortable with the positions for your left hand, then work on your right hand. Maybe do 4 downstrokes on every beat. Then when you're comfortable with that, start adding upstrokes. Then starting at 16ths. That's going to be the tricky one, is getting that those 4 strums per beat. And then just kind of just go nuts with it. You want to make sure you have a good grip on your pick. In fact, when I was doing that solo, I used 2 fingers. I usually just use these 2 fingers. But for this solo, I'm using my middle finger to keep hold of that pick so it doesn't fly off out your hand and into the crowd. That's pretty much it for this lesson. If you've got any comments, any questions, any suggestions, as always, send me a message, leave me a comment. Hope you enjoy it, and I shall see you on the next one. Cheers.